Hey, Raiders fans. We are diving straight into the latest around the Las Vegas Raiders. And believe me, there's a lot to cover. The atmosphere around this team has been buzzing nonstop, with rumors swirling, trade speculation heating up, and fans eager to see what the organization might do before the trade deadline hits. One of the hottest topics right now, without question, is Jacoby Myers. For weeks, he has been at the center of trade chatter, and there's no shortage of opinions about whether the Raiders will actually move him. Jacoby has made it clear that he wants a change of scenery, and the organization is fully aware of his stance. But as always, it takes two sides to make a trade happen. Just because a player wants out does not mean a deal is automatic. Timing, value, and team needs all come into play, and the Raiders are being careful to weigh every angle before making a move. Looking at the potential trade landscape for Jacoby, there's been talk about what the Raiders might realistically accept in return. Early reports suggested a fourth-round compensatory pick in 2027 could be in play, but the truth is that any team seriously interested in acquiring him knows that a pick sooner than that, like a fourth-round pick in 2026, holds significantly more value. The Raiders have indicated they might consider packages involving a second or third-round pick, but realistically, it's tough to find a team willing to part with that much draft capital. It's not just about Jacoby. The organization has to protect its long-term interests and ensure that any trade strengthens the team rather than leaves it in a vulnerable position. When it comes to which teams might be in the running for Jacoby, the landscape has shifted over the past few weeks. At first, the top teams mentioned were the New England Patriots, Pittsburgh Steelers, Denver Broncos, Buffalo Bills, and New York Giants. However, recent developments have started narrowing that field. The Steelers appear less likely to be in pursuit after signing other receivers, and a deal with the Broncos seems improbable, which leaves the Patriots, Bills, and Giants as the primary candidates. There's also a slight chance the San Francisco 49ers could enter the picture, but the top three clearly show the strongest interest. These dynamics highlight how quickly things can change in the NFL trade market, and Raiders fans are watching closely to see if any of these potential deals materialize. While Jacoby remains the centerpiece of trade talk, the question naturally arises, could other Raiders also be on the move? There are a few names that have been circulating in conversations among analysts and insiders, though none are as high-profile as Jacoby. Players like Eric Stokes have been mentioned as potential targets for other teams, primarily because of their strong performances this season. There's no concrete indication that the Raiders are actively trying to move him, but with the way NFL teams operate, interest alone can spark discussions that turn into action if the right offer comes along. Beyond that, a handful of players in the trenches, both on offense and defense, have surfaced in rumors. Quarterback depth, defensive linemen, and versatile players in the secondary are all areas where teams might inquire, especially given how the Raiders have performed so far this season and where they hope to improve. Trade speculation always brings a mix of excitement and frustration for fans because it's rarely clear-cut. For Jacoby, the challenge is balancing his desire for a new opportunity with the Raiders' need to maximize value. Even if multiple teams express interest, the deal has to make sense strategically, financially, and within the broader roster context. It's not just about moving a player. It's about shaping the team's future while addressing immediate needs. With the trade deadline approaching, every call, report, and rumor gains weight, and the Raiders' front office is under pressure to make decisions that could significantly impact the trajectory of the season. At the same time, there's the consideration of what kind of team the Raiders want to be. Are they sellers, clearing roster space and stockpiling draft capital? Or are they buyers, looking to add key pieces that can push them into contention? Recent moves, such as the signing of veteran receivers, suggest the organization is leaning toward a more aggressive approach, showing that they believe certain additions could meaningfully improve the roster. Acquiring players in key positions, especially in the secondary or along the defensive line, could help address weaknesses and provide the kind of depth that a playoff contending team needs. Fans are naturally paying close attention to these moves, analyzing every report, and trying to predict the team's strategy as the trade deadline draws near. Within the secondary, several names have emerged as potential targets. Players with versatility, experience, and the ability to play multiple roles are particularly attractive, especially for a team looking to balance speed, coverage, and physicality. Rumors have linked the Raiders to cornerbacks who could step in and contribute immediately, filling gaps that have been exposed this season. The front office is clearly focused on both short-term impact and long-term development, weighing the cost of trades against the potential performance gains. Similarly, along the defensive line, the Raiders are exploring options that could enhance their pass rush and improve run defense. Edge rushers who bring both experience and upside are valuable commodities, and teams are actively evaluating who might be available in the trade market. The challenge, of course, is identifying players who fit within the Raiders' scheme and culture while staying realistic about what other teams are willing to part with. As always, rumors are just one piece of the puzzle. The reality of the NFL trade market is that nothing is guaranteed until it happens. A lot of the conversations surrounding Jacoby Myers and other potential trades are speculative, based on a mix of insider information, performance analysis, and projected team needs. While fans hope for clarity, the dynamic nature of trades, injuries, and team evaluations means the landscape can shift dramatically in a short period of time. The Raiders, like any team, must navigate these waters carefully, balancing ambition with prudence to avoid rash decisions that could have long-term consequences. And that brings us to another critical point: timing. The trade deadline isn't just a date on the calendar. It's a strategic pivot for every team. Decisions made in the weeks leading up to the deadline can define a team's season. For the Raiders, managing the trade talks while maintaining focus on current games is a delicate balancing act. Coaching staff, front office executives, and player agents are all coordinating behind the scenes, and even minor developments can shift momentum and perception among interested teams. Fans watching from the outside get a front-row seat to the drama, but the true complexity of these negotiations often remains hidden until a deal is officially announced. Beyond Jacoby and the headline trade rumors, the Raiders' approach reflects a broader philosophy. The team has been methodical in evaluating roster needs, exploring strategic acquisitions, and identifying where incremental improvements can have the greatest impact. Whether it's through adding depth in the secondary, enhancing pass rush, or securing players with special teams value, the front office is constantly looking for opportunities to strengthen the roster. This careful approach demonstrates a commitment to sustainable success rather than making impulsive moves for short-term headlines. The combination of player movement, trade speculation, and organizational strategy makes this period one of the most exciting times for Raiders fans. Every report fuels discussion, every rumor sparks analysis, and every potential trade has implications not just for the upcoming games, but for the direction of the franchise in the years ahead. The team's actions, from evaluating trade offers to signing key veterans, send signals about priorities, vision, and competitive intent. And as we get closer to the trade deadline, each development becomes increasingly significant, with the potential to reshape expectations and alter the course of the season. Now that we've explored the landscape around Jacoby Myers and the Raiders' trade possibilities, let's shift the focus to other areas where the team could make moves. One of the most critical spots is the defensive line, where pressure and depth have been recurring themes this season. The Raiders have shown that they want to compete at a high level, and adding talent along the edge or at the interior could significantly boost the team's ability to disrupt opposing offenses. Veterans and young players alike are on the radar, with several names generating chatter due to their skill sets, experience, or connections to coaches within the organization. The goal is clear: strengthen the front and create a unit that can pressure quarterbacks consistently while remaining solid against the run. Edge rushers are particularly valuable, especially those who can contribute immediately in pass rushing situations. The Raiders have a style that relies heavily on key matchups and rotation, and with some injuries limiting current options, the team's ability to create pressure has been compromised. Acquiring a player who can step in and perform at a high level without a long adjustment period is essential. Reports suggest that there are a few potential candidates the Raiders could explore, including players who have familiarity with the coaching staff or have been successful in similar defensive schemes. These players not only bring talent, but also experience in systems that mirror the Raiders' approach, which can shorten the learning curve and maximize impact quickly. Beyond the defensive line, the secondary is another area that the Raiders appear to be targeting. Versatility is the key here. The team is looking for players who can cover multiple positions, handle man-to-man assignments, and contribute to both run support and pass coverage. Cornerbacks and safeties who fit this mold are always in high demand, and the Raiders have been closely monitoring the market for such opportunities. Names have surfaced in speculation, with some players potentially being available due to team adjustments, cap considerations, or organizational strategy shifts. The Raiders' interest is in improving consistency in coverage, limiting big plays, and giving the pass rush a better chance to succeed by holding down receivers effectively. While fans may focus on the big names or high-profile trades, the reality is that incremental improvements in these key areas can have a massive impact. Adding a player who brings a specific skill set or can fill a critical gap can change the way a defense operates week to week. For instance, a defensive lineman who can collapse the pocket on passing downs opens up opportunities for linebackers and safeties to make plays. Similarly, a versatile cornerback who can handle multiple coverage assignments reduces pressure on the rest of the secondary and allows the team to be more aggressive in scheme design. These additions are often less flashy, but are vital for the long-term performance of the team. The Raiders' strategy appears to be cautious but calculated. They are not chasing headline-grabbing trades simply for the sake of activity. Rather, they're targeting specific areas where improvement is needed and seeking players who can make an immediate impact. This approach reflects an understanding that depth and versatility are just as important as star power, particularly as injuries inevitably shape the season. Fans can expect that any acquisitions will be measured, focused on fit, and designed to complement the existing roster rather than overhaul entirely. Looking at potential moves, the Raiders' front office is clearly balancing multiple factors. Cap space, positional needs, player experience, and scheme compatibility all play into the decision-making process. A trade may not always be about acquiring a high-profile player. Sometimes, it's about adding someone who can perform reliably and provide the coaching staff with flexibility. The ability to rotate players effectively, cover for injuries, and adjust defensive schemes on the fly is critical, and smart roster management in these areas can be the difference between a competitive team and one that struggles down the stretch. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL world is buzzing with speculation after what insiders are calling one of the most surprising decisions of the offseason. AMON-RA St. Brown, the prolific Detroit Lions wide receiver, is reportedly choosing the Las Vegas Raiders as his next home. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the situation suggest that the move could completely reshape the Raiders' offensive identity. St. Brown, known for his precise route running and relentless work ethic, has been a key target in Detroit since entering the league, steadily building a reputation as one of the most reliable receivers in the game. Analysts have long debated his potential as a franchise changer, but rumors that he's heading to Las Vegas have sent shockwaves through NFL circles. If true, this signing would not only inject star power into the Raiders' receiving core, but could also signal a bold new offensive philosophy under the team's coaching staff. The whispers suggest that the Raiders are planning to revamp their attack around St. Brown's versatility. Sources hint at a hybrid scheme designed to maximize his ability to line up both outside and in the slot, forcing defenses to account for him on every play. If they pull this off, it could be transformative, said one anonymous league insider. We're talking about a player who can change how a team attacks the field. The Raiders haven't had someone like that in years. Fans and media alike are already speculating about the broader implications. Could this be the missing piece for Derek Carr, or whoever takes the reins under center next season? Will the Raiders finally push past the mediocrity that's haunted them for so long? And how will St. Brown's arrival affect the dynamics with current stars in Las Vegas? Every rumor, every insider tip, every cryptic social media post only fuels the frenzy. While the NFL waits for an official announcement, the chatter is impossible to ignore. The thought of St. Brown in silver and black has sparked debates from coast to coast, with pundits wondering if the Raiders are preparing to make a statement about their ambitions. One thing is certain. If this rumor proves true, the 2025 season could look very different, and Las Vegas may finally have the kind of offensive weapon that turns heads and dominates highlight reels week after week. The buzz continues to build, and insiders say to expect development soon. Could AMON-RA, St. Brown really be the piece that transforms Las Vegas into a contender? Only time will tell, but for now, the NFL rumor mill is alive and electric. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.